Welcome in. Dar here from Dar's Divine Connections with my fur pal Dusty Boy. And we're very excited about having our special guest, friend and author, Cathy Eddy, here with us.
Thank you.
And she is the author of the most recent book, All About Me. But first, let's hear a little bit about you.
I'm Cathy Eddy. I'm married and my husband's name is Walt. I have 2 daughters, a son-in-law, and 2 grandchildren. Some of them are writers and some are artists. I have 4 sisters, and growing up, one of my sisters was an artist also. And one of our childhood dreams was that I would write and she would be my illustrator. And by the time I am 62 years old, my childhood dream has come true.
Oh, that is such a cool story, isn't it, everybody? So welcome in. Good to see you. And I am not going to be welcoming in each person individually because we're just going to try to flow here with this interview. But thanks for saying hi to Dusty and Cathy and myself. We're excited to be here with you. Save your questions to the end, or if they come on you right away, I have a notebook and pen and I'll write down the questions and we'll ask them of Cathy later. So my first question that I'm so curious about is, growing up, were you the type of child that kept a diary or wrote in journals? Because here you just told us you didn't really formally write until your 60s.
Yes, I did. I wrote whenever I could. I kept journals and diaries, and I wrote on scratch pieces of paper, paper towels, napkins. Even as I got older, even while driving a car, if a thought runs through my head, I have to pull off and write that thought down, or I lose it. And same way with in bed. If I don't have my notebook handy, which it usually is, I have to jump out of bed and make my notes, because when you wake up, the thought is never there or the words are not the same. And I do have one of my journals that I do right now. I have a sketch diary. And in the front of the sketch diary, I have pictures that I draw. And in the back of my diary, or my sketch journal, I have poetry or different things I write. You will see here, I have my paper plate.
I love that.
I have my scratch papers.
I'm going to hold them up. She writes on paper plates, napkins, scratch papers. That is just such a good lesson for all of us, isn't it?
So write on whatever you have handy. And
awesome. And she mentioned waking up. Now, for some reason, my prime time is 3 in the morning. I think of an idea to write all of you that subscribe to my email list. And that's where those ideas come from. So I have a little pen that when you push on it, instead of the ink coming out, actually light comes out. And the ink just flows with the battery run light. So I write at night for sure.
I bet you find yourself on the computer at 4 in the morning. Right?
Well, we won't get into that, but yes, I do write them at unusual hours. So excuse the ringing in the background because we're in a kind of a public environment. But what finally motivated you, Cathy, to start writing books and publishing them? Because like you said, you didn't do that until later in life. So what was your final motivation?
My husband.
I know him, by the way, everybody.
When I turned 60, he said, Cathy, you have tubs of writing. and files, and you have all these little books you have written. He said, you need to write a book, because when something happens to you, what do you think will happen to all these notes and papers and right? And he says, and if you have a book written, your children and grandchildren will probably keep these books. And he bugged me for several years, and by the time I was 62, I put out my first children's book. I have 2 children's books out now. 3 actually, because this winter I did another children's book and All About Me.
All right, well, we're here to talk about All About Me, and we'll continue on that. But later on, all of you parents and grandparents can hear about our other books. That'll be fun. So I often encourage my clients, and some of them are on here today, and hi to all of you. I also encourage them by saying it's never too late and you're never too old. And to get them like stepping out of their comfort zone is the difficult thing. So what are your thoughts on that?
I find it very hard to step out of my comfort zone. I am out of my comfort zone right now.
She's admitting it.
I am.
She is. She's out of her comfort zone.
But Dar is making me feel very relaxed, and it's very comforting.
Thanks.
But yes, it is very hard being out of my comfort zone.
And then what do you think about never too old and never too late?
Well, since this all started in my childhood, even before I was a teenager, it all started with cutouts. We had the McGuire sisters, and my sister drew for them, and I concocted stories for them. And my husband, at 60 years old, was pushing both my sisters and I to get out of our comfort zones and do something about what we talk about.
And they've been very active doing ever since. So again, you'll hear about some of those things later.
I'm 74 now. We have 4 books.
And this is my copy of her recent workbook, All About Me. And as some of you who have read some of my emails, this is my book, my personal story. And she has written this for those of us who feel like overwhelmed by the idea of writing even about like one event in our life, which is where I feel that way. So I love this workbook, and I love how it made me get started. And so let's talk about this most recent book. What do you have to say about this book?
Well, All About Me started about 5.5 to 6 years ago. I belong to a Freeland Senior Center. I started a group. We call it Writing History. Once a month, I write 2 papers. Each paper consists of 6 to 8 questions, and it'll be about life. It'll be about life from baby on to now, and different events that happen in your life. We reminisce, we tell a story. Sometimes it's fun, and sometimes you may have to tell a sad story, and we call it life.
I like that.
The book is in chronological order. It starts from when you were born and on to now. It goes through childhood, school days, careers, dating, marriage, babies. There's a chapter on holidays. There's many different, there's a page on health issues, questions children always seem to have need answers to.
And I mentioned this is my copy, and I joined a little writers group here with Kathy leading the charge. And you know, many of the women did start out chronologically, and they wrote in, you know, about their birth and death, their birth, and their life experiences from the beginning. But I jumped right to the prompt about my first job, you know, because it was like, oh, look, here it wants me to talk about my first job. That's kind of fun. So I just went almost to the back of the book and wrote about my first job. And then doing this with another person, you know, you might think if you want this book, it's so economical, you might as well get two and give one to your friend, which is what I did. I already gave one away. And so anyway, so that you have somebody to kind of write with and laugh with and recount the stories and that kind of thing. So so the job one was my favorite. Kathy, would you talk about a couple of your favorites? There are 1,250 prompts in here. So you're bound to find a favorite. So
I counted them all. And I quit
Yes, you did.
when I was adding more. I did not count anymore after that. My favorite part was holidays.
Oh, sweet.
I love comparing when I was a child growing up and writing about the holidays and what I do now. What traditions have changed? Did I keep some of the traditions from my youth? Did I incorporate them into my family as they were growing up? And I added more traditions also. And I wrote a little bit of poetry in there because that is a fun section. Well, most of them are fun anyhow.
Yeah, they are all fun. They're all fun.
But you
Take
will
my
have,
word for it.
You will have favorites.
Yeah. And she mentioned the holidays this year because we're down here on South Padre Island. We did Thanksmas this year. We did Christmas and Thanksgiving and for the grandchildren. And then we went with my oldest son and spent Christmas with the kind of quiet with just a few people. So we started a tradition this year. I'll have to write about that.
And there is a section in there for you to write it.
Yes. I'm going to go in there and do that next.
And when you're writing these stories or paragraphs, something is going to come to mind that might be even a different subject. Keep a notebook handy. Write that down because you cannot write two subjects at one time. And then in the book, there is a page that you can keep a list. But from experience, that page is not enough room. You will need a notebook.
If you're a writer.
And you know, because some said, well, in our group, we call us the Rainy Day Writers. We will be writing this afternoon, even if it doesn't rain.
Even if it doesn't rain.
Yeah.
Yes. Last time the rain was farther north and we wrote with Rainy Day Writers. But yeah, I think I'll do holiday today when we get together.
It will be fun.
Yeah. Tell me, yeah, because I think we were only 5 minutes in and I said, is there somewhere where you like write your biggest blooper? So that one I'm going to be putting in the notes because I'll probably end up writing about my blooper. She has some really cute little illustrations in here. If you've ever seen a book that allows you to write like your life story, you won't see a book that has this nice workbook form and fun little illustrations. So talk to us a little bit about how these, ooh, here, look at 4th of July, about how these fun illustrations came to be.
My sister, Joanne, is my illustrator, and there isn't room for full-size pictures in there. So I asked her if she could do little stick figures for me, and we scatter them throughout the book, and they're fun. And from our first 3 books, on the cover, we have our Max and Maggie. These are our children's books, And we took our twins, Max and Maggie. They have red hair. And I thought, okay, that will start from youth. And then on the back of our book, my sister put gray hair on Max and Maggie and put glasses on them because this is life. As we get older, we may get gray hair and we may wear glasses.
That's fun. That's fun. And then the stick figures inside are kind of cool.
They're fun. They're fun.
Yeah. So they make it simple. They actually make it even seem more fun to me because I'm a very visual person. So when I see this workbook with lots of room to write and these clear writing prompts and these fun illustrations, you know, I want to get out my gel pens and start coloring them and then write.
I never thought about coloring
Yes,
them.
my gel pens will have to come with
that
the group.
is an idea. I like that.
All right. Well, I'll bring them this afternoon to our rainy day writers.
And the format is where I wear reading glasses, but we made the print so maybe we don't have to wear reading glasses.
Ah, yeah. Well, let's talk about format next. Tell us about your format.
I fought with my Microsoft program. Okay.
Well, I think we all do have those problems, right?
And my younger grandson is my graphic designer. And he worked with me because this saved my book from the trash. If he wouldn't have helped me, because just before this book was published, I lost all 80 pages. They're out there in space. I have no idea where the first 80 pages are. And I had to start over. My husband, Walt, said, I wouldn't have done it.
Oh, and he's the one that usually pushes you. That's fun. I wouldn't have done it. That takes persistence. Good for you. Good for you.
If I didn't have my grandson helping me and finding my, well, they weren't mistakes. My grandson started calling it our book.
Our book. Yes, that's wonderful because it is the family legacy. It is the family book. So
yes,
that is really cool. So I just want to tell everybody that Cathy's contact information will be, actually we posted that above on our post, and you can just email her and talk to her more if you'd like. Remember, you can ask questions here, and I'll come up and get those into a notebook, and we'll be asking her at the end of this interview. But for now, I was so surprised to find out that this book is only $10 plus shipping. So will you talk about that a little bit and maybe talk to the people who would like to get this book for themselves? We'll just take a moment for that.
Okay, this book just came out 3 weeks ago, but it can be purchased through me for $10 and $2.95 shipping. Did you post the information?
I posted it. Go ahead and read it slow.
Okay, my Gmail account is 123 CATHERINEDDY. This is my name at gmail.com.
Yep, and then you can just say, hi, Cathy, I'm interested in your book, and then she can help take over the rest. Okay. And so you brought along a few of your other books that our parents and grandparents might be interested in.
Okay, I'm working on a website, and all these books will appear on it the end of March, first part of May. My very first book.
But right now, they're on Amazon except for this one, because she said it's only 3 weeks old.
Well, this is only like 6 weeks old.
Oh,
so
and the same with another one she's going to show you.
I will show you.
So fun.
Okay, our first book is Sandbox Sand Shoes, and it came from when we were children. We had a large sandbox, but we didn't have all the toys. So we had our imaginations. And what we would do is we would make sand shoes. They could be ballet slippers, cowboy boots, tennis shoes, and our imaginations would take us wherever we wanted to go. We also have a cat in the book, and the cat has a personal game in the book where the child can make up the rules. There's 4 different ways for a child to make up rules in this book.
The child reading it. Oh, how cool is that?
Yeah. So there's a cat game, and we brought.
Dusty's not listening. It's a cat game.
It's a good cat.
It's a good cat.
And our cat also has an imagination. So our next book we took to the beach. Sand shoes, and how we figured out getting our cat to the beach was in a basket.
Oh.
So
That
that is
makes
a
sense.
little different because normally you don't see cats walking the beach. And the same game is in this book. And at the end of the book, the children journal about their day at the beach. One twin will write about their day at the beach, and the other twin will draw a picture about their day at the beach. And that brought this book about. It's a journal book for children. It has 2 front covers. The first front cover is a Max and Maggie invitation to journal, and it is through writing, and inside the book there are 24 pages of lines.
And they're nice big lines.
Big lines.
Nice.
And then you turn the book over, and there is another front cover. And this is a Max and Maggie invitation to journal with pictures. This may seem strange, but those 24 pages are blanks.
Oh, lovely.
Because a child's picture always tells a story.
And what an encouragement. And some of our parents could get this one for themselves, and they could get that one for their writer-drawer child.
So this is a fun book. This just these
A
just
book that
came out.
matches mommy's.
I never thought of that.
Or grandma's.
And now we are working on 2 more children's books. That's in our Max and Maggie series. I have brought I have 3 other sisters, and we're working on a cookbook with Hungarian and American recipes. And so far, it has been fun. The eating part is delicious.
Her husband Walt likes to taste. She posts his picture tasting the dishes on Facebook.
But no, it's fun, and this is a dream also has come true. Now I am working with all of my sisters.
Awesome. Well, I'd like to give our audience just a chance to ask some questions, and I just want to acknowledge them a minute. I haven't seen any questions coming in, but I have seen a few of you on here, so I just want to say hi again from Dusty and I and my special guest Kathy. And if you have a question, you can continue to post them, and I'll be able to just get hold of Kathy. She mentioned we're writing together this afternoon, so I'll just look to see if you have any questions posted by this afternoon, and then we'll do what she does best. She'll write back to you with the answer. Otherwise,
I forgot something.
she wanted to say just a couple more things about these books, and we'd love to hear.
These first 2 books, I have a small publisher in 3 Rivers, Michigan, A Joy in Publishing, and they are also on Amazon.
All right.
These are established.
Those are established. The others are brand new, so you'll need to you'll need to email Cathy directly, or ask me again how to get hold of her, because I will be sending out an email with this information and the replay. So you sure are welcome to be able to hear that.
Thank you. Thank you for this interview.
Welcome. And we're just going to sign off now. Oh, you are welcome, Debbie. Thank you. Thank you. She said it was wonderful. And as we said at the beginning, it was stepping out of Cathy's comfort zone.
This is my first interview.
This is her first interview, and she did really well, didn't she? So blessings your way, everyone. Oh, Jackie, yes, saying hi as we're signing off. If you have any questions, be sure to post them, because we will be around. Bye-bye for now.